Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, I'm once again taking a look at one of your designs that you recommended me on mod.io. And for today we are looking at another gigantic land vehicle. This one is called the Cobra Mobile Base, which is this lovely thing that I'm currently standing underneath of. So this is an absolute massive mobile base that features everything we need to survive in survival mode and more. We've got guns all the way around the outside, we've got plenty of places for ships to come and dock up to this, unload any goods, pull out any stuff, and of course go over to trade stations and whatnot. Got lots of walkways all the way around this so we can easily repair this up if it ever took damage. We're assisted by thrusters, so if we do get too heavy, or we get too greedy with all the stuff inside this, we can push it around with that. We've got a very unique suspension system that allows us to be very clear from the ground, so we can go over some very uneven or very dangerous terrain. We also feature all the basic stuff needed for the survival mode, such as assemblers and refineries. We've got a few bits of decoration in the form of kitchen quarters, living quarters, and of course our helm at the front. We've got some renewable power in the form of solar panels sit right at the very top here, run next to some connectors and merge blocks for other ships to come and dock up to. And we do have an artillery gun that sits on top of a massive pillar that when you click a button, it's going to fold all the way up to how you get basically like a periscope view of the enemies you're about to blast. Of course, we'll see that when we go around on foot, which will be in just a moment. If we were to come back down and continue around towards the very front here, we see another docking pad right there for a very small vehicle. You can even use that for a land vehicle if they do have some, say, assist thrusters on it to be able to get up and down. And of course, around towards the very front, we've got a few little perches that come out of the main cockpit. They don't go anywhere, they're fully barred off. But as you can see right there, we do have some interior turrets for a little bit of defense. And of course, we can stand out there with a gun ourselves, like a rocket launcher, and blast anything that our turrets are struggling to deal with. Move around towards the very front here, we then see our bridge of how we're going to control it. We've got a few seats around the bottom of this area, which will control a few bits and bobs such as the turrets. Then the seat right at the very top is how we're going to drive it around. If we were to move all the way down, here we go. This is our special way of getting up and inside the ship. So we've got a piston that comes all the way down onto a hinge. We'll stand on this, press that button, and it's going to fold all the way up until we reach into this little gap right here. So it's going to join up that step, which is how we're going to get up and around to the top, which is a very unique way of getting in and out of a large rover without needing to use your jetpack. And of course, as for this side, we can see one hell of a lot of thrusters. There's our refinery. And getting a better look at the top here, there's our docking pad at the back for some lovely blinking lights that start on red, that eventually go across the green into the middle of that connector. And of course, just scooting across here, plenty of windows here outside from our living quarters, kitchen quarters. There's our guns, there's our connectors, solar panels, and of course, a way to get up here and do repair work. And at the very front there, small turrets, a beacon, solar panels, and an assault cannon turret. And there we go, that's that for the outside. So what I'm going to do now is press F10, find it in spawn menu. I have no idea what's going on with the side of the screen. Yes, we'll go through here, and this is what we get. So this thing is 3,468 large blocks, using pretty much all the DLC packs. We can see here a nice bit of information about it, such as the story behind it, and of course what has happened to it. Then all the way down here we do have a bit of important information regarding Lord Clang, where as you can see we can get our small suspensions stuck, and well, it might cause a few problems. So what we're going to do is give this thing a thumbs up. We're going to grab hold of my character, so we're now going to go around on foot, because I think that works out a lot better when doing large vehicles. It does cut out a lot of time on the videos, so it's a lot of stuff that you can just easily spot without me pointing it out. Anyway, coming up to here, hopping onto this, pressing the button, if it was to stand like this is simply what happens. So both the hinges work in tandem as our piston moves all the way up and retracts us round. And eventually we'll come up to these steps, where we'll be ready to go up and inside. It's a very safe and very smooth system, which is an absolute fantastic way of getting up and into a rover. What I will do very quickly, because I can see the sun is setting, is bring it around slightly. There we go. Now we just walk up these steps. So we've got a few ways to go. That way's going to take us to our main control room, where we don't need to go just yet. So what we're going to do is come up these steps and all the way around. This is going to take us down to one of our docking pads for a small ship to come up to. Or like I said, when we're going around the outside, a land vehicle that has a few thrusters to enable it to get all the way up to here, and will just park itself when it's not in use. But looking up to there, there's a connector for ship to dock up to. We then see our large refinery there. Large atmospheric thrusters help boost this thing around. Some fantastic use of window blocks where we can just about make out our modules right behind us. Then over here we see some hydrogen engines for some additional power. There's a couple of hydrogen tanks which they're connected up to. As for the rest of this area, it's time to come back up these steps, then walk further around. So this is going to be simply a dead end. We've got an LCD screen that tells a little summary about our cargo containers. We've got our hinges and oars. Then over here, there's nothing much else other than a nice perch to see what's going on. So what we've got to do now is just walk past all of this to the opposite side, where it's going to be basically the same as what we just saw. but I'll just do it for symmetry's sake. So up to here and down to here. We then got our docking pad for our small vehicle to come and connect up to that connector. Up and around here, another LCD screen, once again telling us our ingots and ore, and another little perch for you to view on the opposite side. So that all done, now we've got to do is come back around to here, into this section, ignoring this doorway, which is a mod. It's a rotary airlock, which is very useful if you want a singular door design. There is another mod on this ship, which is the nanopod all-in-repair system. It's a very handy thing when you're playing solo, because it can reach blocks that you can't usually see if they are, say, buried inside and, say, got sniped by a railgun. Yes, you can always remove that because it's not really needed. Anyway, on the inside of this section, we've got a few more ways to go. Once again with our rotary airlocks, but I think what we're going to do is now come through this doorway, and we'll just click that, it'll spin all the way around. There's some of our storage barrels, putting on my light, looking around the room, a bunch of shelves for some decoration, some freight crates lining the room, and then another rotary door. That'll then take us to another section, which is basically once again a perch to view outside of what's going on, and of course to assist the turrets if they're struggling with any kind of drones. Back through here, all the way around, past all of our shelves, then into this doorway. We do not need to click it with a mouse because it is controlled by a sensor, so just walk up to it, it opens, walk past it, and it will close. But yes, on this section, this is like a mini living quarters. We've got lockers around the room, cryopods lining up this area. Round into this section, there's a toilet. Then we've got a few windows, some more lockers. There's an air vent to make sure you don't suffocate. Then around into this section, another toilet. Then into here, another rotary door that will once again bring us over to a perch to see what's going on. But this time we can come all the way around towards the back, so we can see who's landing onto that docking pad, and we'll blast them if they're an intruder. Back around to here, clicking on the door. It's now time to come across to this one, where it's going to take us to basically our proper living quarters, which will feature a bunch of kitchen tables and seats to sit on. So once again, rotating the door, stepping through here, but then instantly greeted by our sofa. There's a big table to eat your food. Another rotary door that we won't go through, but that will take us over to that area right there, next to that interior turret. Looking out this window, down there we can see a very scary wheel, which we're going to pretend is not happening like that. I'm just going to walk past the section. So there's our lovely little fish block, some more seats to sit on. Round here, there's your entertainment center, another air vent, there's a lovely button panel, there's a bookshelf, there is your kitchen table to grab a coffee and to cook a little bit of food. Into this part, another window to appear outside of, and then another door controlled by a sensor, and then just walk past it, and it'll automatically open up. But here is your proper kitchen bay. We've got a coffee table, our actual kitchen block, our kitchen sink to wash everything up. And as for the rest of the room, another little seat to sit on, another rotary door once again for a little perch. There's an air vent and a vending machine. So you have to walk through this section, here we go. And now we're back at the very start, but that'll lead to the very front. So coming up this section, all the way up, here we go. We're now at the very top. We're going to access our solar panels, access our hinge for our artillery gun, and of course access our Gatling guns to manually load them up if we need to. Walking around this section, all the way up to here, and they've got a merge block for a ship to dock up to. Looking down to there, we can see our solar panels at the front. And of course, we can walk past this, look all the way down at all of our gyroscopes. And all the way past here's a connector, there's our Gatling guns, then towards front, another solar panel. And over this part, there's our window blocks, or we just work with our table, chair, and our fish block, which you can't currently see. Anyway, as for this part, we now walk across our antenna block, here we go. Now I'm going to do a running jump. We don't even need to do a running jump, because that's perfect for just dropping all the way off. We're now at the rear docking pad. So this is the lights we saw at the very back of the ship with our connection point, and a bunch of railings around the outside. We do have two drop down points on the left and right hand side. We can come all the way down, take us down to a little catwalk that'll take us all the way around the rear of the vehicle. This allows us to do some repair work if it ever took damage, because it's rather exposed here, and it's a very easy target, especially if you're running away from an enemy. Just looking down to there, we can see our wheel suspensions. There's some batteries lining the wall. There's some more of our atmospheric thrusters. A couple of interior turrets help shoot down any kind of missiles coming towards you. And around the back there's a much needed parachute in case you do get into a pickle going off a mountainside. Walking all the way around here once again. There's another scary wheel. Let's pretend that's not doing that. Let me just come all the way back around. That'll take us all the way back up to our docking pad once again. And there we go. Now time to come up these steps. I did miss out because I came across the antenna. We're going to come all the way up to this. Underneath our lovely arm for our artillery gun, we're going to come across to two doorways. But we're going to ignore the doorways for the moment. We're going to come all the way down into this section, because this is another little engineering access for you to repair up stuff if it took damage. So we can walk across this section, say just drop off down onto our wheel suspensions, or come back through here. Now we've got manual control to our gyroscopes and a few other bits and bobs at the back here. And we come back through here, just hopping all the way up these steps, Now we'll come through one of these doorways. So clicking that to rotate it around. There we go. Pressing that once again. I can hear the clanging of one of the wheels at the front edge is jiggling around. But now we are back in here with our fish blocks. So what we're going to do now, come back through here, all the way through. Don't know why I clicked open the door because it is automatic. Rotate this around. We're going to head back towards the very front. There we go. So walking past this section, all the way down. Now we come into this doorway right here. So the first thing we're greeted with is a cargo container with a lovely cap on the front of it where we can open up. Now we can drop stuff in now if we need to. Coming across over to this one, we can open it up to access the back of the medical bay. So we can store a few bits and pieces in here if you wanted to. That's entirely up to you. Maybe add in some power packs and medical kits that you can just pull out in an emergency. But for the rest of the room, we've got a lovely little wooden planter there. Another window to peer outside. Then turn around to the opposite side. Then you've got our little medical bay system where we've got our lab table, a little scanning machine, air vent, little seat to sit on for your patients to, well, wait for their turn to get injected. Then over to here is a bed for, say, your medical staff to go sleep in. Into this, a doorway, take us further to the front. But we don't want to go in there just yet. We want to turn around this section because there is our full-on medical bay block. And then the little planter just decorating the room. As for that, coming back through here. And now we're greeted with another air vent with 2 programmable blocks. On the left-hand side, if we come all the way around to it, we then see our artificial horizon. Onto the opposite side, then see our automatic LCD screen script. Turning around, this is like one of the first uses I've ever seen on the curved LCD screen. There is our ingot and ore summary. Onto the opposite side, we then see our ammo summary. We can see by default, this thing spawns in with 3.8k of MR58 mags. We've got a bunch of assault cannon shells, a nice amount of artillery shells, and a nice amount of Gatling ammo, which should last a nice long time. But once again, on the left and right hand side, we've got another doorway that will take us to the outside. One little perch so we can see what's going on. This is what we saw at the very front with both our interior turrets on both sides. And of course, looking down there, we can see our wheels and what's going on. Coming back through here we go. We now walk around into this section, which is our main control room. But once again, we've got our LCD screen script. We can see here our special wheel control script. We'll come around to the opposite side very quickly, all the way around. We can then see our SAM script, which can be how we're going to set up an autopilot system if you want to do that. Anyway, turning back around to here, we've got a weapon locker on the left and right hand side, and we've got a few seats controlling a few bits and bobs. So in here, this is going to control our assault cannon and our Gatling guns. Bring out this and come into the main seat in the middle, and then got controls over our artillery gun. Well, as you can see right here, this is our default view. But if you were to hop out of this and press number 5, that's now going to lift all the way up, so then we can get an even better view of what's going on. Now we can get a much clearer view in the distance, and then shoot our enemies. There we are. And of course, once we're done, we now press number 5, retract out all the way back, then we can just scoot away. Anyway, coming to this seat, it's going to be largely the same as the first one that we saw. We've got controls over our assault cannon, and our Gatling guns. Then turning all the way around and coming up these steps, does then take us to our main control seat, where this is how we're going to do, drive it around. So hopping into here, we've got a few controls, but we don't really need to control anything on this other than number 9 in case we need it. Number 9 is going to be for your large atmospheric thrusters to help boost this thing around if it does get too heavy to move by itself, or if it doesn't have enough acceleration to, say, escape from your enemies. But yes, number 1, number 2 is going to be for your wheel height. We've got number 4 for your parachutes. Number 6 is to control the lights around your wheel suspension, so you see that lighting up, then turning off. Number 7 is then for your spotlight to view around what's going on in case the seats for the turrets have been taken. Now that, pressing number 8, that's for your small atmospheric thrusters. Then number 9 is your large atmospheric thrusters. Over to tab number 2, this is for your wheel suspensions, where we don't need to touch any of that because it's perfect how it's been set up. It's time to drive this thing around. So moving forward, this is what we get without the large atmospheric thrusters, and only being assisted by the small ones, as you can see right there below our small docking pad. Much like the vehicle in the previous video, it feels a lot slower than it actually is. As you can see here, we're now going over 60 meters per second, which is fantastic stuff for such a large survival rover, and there's nothing that can stop us as we were to drive along. But that looked a bit scary for my taste there. I was expecting that to completely blow up, but there goes the tree into the distance. Now we can start to turn this thing around. One of the big problems I have found with this is when we're going at very high speeds, and this is going to go above 100 meters per second due to a Skybox I'm currently using, is that it does tend to drift around a lot, so you will need to be pretty damn careful, especially if you're coming up to a cliff edge, like I am right now. But that's fine, I'm just going to activate our large atmospheric thrusters, charge all the way along, and of course, if we survive this, then do a tight turn to show you the turning radius. So here we go, all the way across. Come on, suspensions, do your thing. This might be very, very risky. Yes, it is. It looks like we're on a very dodgy bit of ground. And well, that did one hell of a lot of damage to the underside of the vehicle. Is it salvageable though? Yes, it certainly looks like it is. And of course, there goes the nanobot auto repair system, just trying to repair up anything that was damaged. very handy thing to have, especially in creative mode. But what we'll do now is just going to remove all of that and spawn in a brand new one. We'll actually play a bit more sensibly. And here we go one more time. So what I'm going to do now is just do a tight turn. Here we go, all the way around without our large atmospheric thrusters. And this is the turning radius we get. It's surprisingly not bad for this size of vehicle, especially for the shape of the vehicle. So you will be able to do a 360 in a fairly reasonable amount of time. But again, for a large slow rover like this is, you're going to be heavily reliant on those turrets if you do need to, say, do some emergency maneuvers while under fire. As for that, it's a fantastic rover featuring everything you need for survival mode, informed defense, and of course refineries, assemblies, and a nice bit of room to roleplay in. So I think the final thing to do is, being we have crashed it already, is go across to some space pirates which are in the general area. There's a salvage facility not too far away. We'll go and test out all the guns and see how they handle it. There are the space pirates in the distance. What I'm going to do now is press number 5. In fact, we need to come out of that, press number 5 again. There we go. We now get a nice big view of what's going on with that building. In fact, we're just going to try and pot shot them with the artillery gun. There we go. There was the little ping of me reaching the maximum height. So aiming about there, that should be okay. Might be a bit off. Yeah, that was fairly close for my actual aiming. I was actually quite impressed by that. Let's go and do that one more time. Should be a little bit better. No, it was not. I was nowhere near it. So I'm going to put that all the way back down and actually drive all the way up to it. So here we go. We are about 2 kilometers out, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get over there. But it shouldn't really. You've got to activate number 9 for our atmospheric thrusters. There we go. Now it's been lit up. I'm going to press right mouse button to lock onto it. Hopefully all the turrets can actually engage it and not blast each other, because that is a small issue I did have when there was an enemy in front of me during my testing. There we go. We are now ready. And I might actually need to put up the artillery gun to make sure it can engage. But there we go, the turrets on top have started to shoot into it. And now we're just going to drive around like so to hopefully broadside it with all of the guns. So we see the artillery guns fine, the assault cannons at the front. There goes the Gatling guns. We're now just going to patrol all the way around it. Now I'm going to start to slow down a little bit. We can see a fair amount of smoke coming off this, but the nanobot auto repair system should be on top of any kind of damage coming in. Now I'm just going to rotate all the way around. And I'm just going to hide the HUD. So it looks like they have been largely disabled, or they have been disabled previously in another video, because it does not look like they are firing back. They might be firing back, but it seems very, very hard to notice. I'm just going to put on the brakes right there. Should do. Now I'm just going to hop out of the seat and walk all the way around and come outside onto one of our little walkways to see what exactly is going on. So here we go, we're now coming outside. It does seem like they have been attacking me, because we can see the nanobot auto repair system, the little yellow orb, has been flying around. But as for the pirate base, it looks like it has been fully disabled on the weapons, and all of our guns have stopped firing. Or at least I say they've stopped firing, but it looks like we have lost one of our Gatling guns on the side. Getting a bit close look over here. That sounded like one of my Gatling guns did blow up, which is quite annoying. It seems like it is this turret down there, which is causing all of the issues. So what we've got to do now is get back into the cockpit, and we're just going to drive all the way around once again. And here we go. To finish off this video, we're going to slam straight into it, see what kind of destruction we can cause. So now we can just charge all the way along. We can see there our stopping time is not too great. We're going to stop in about 35 seconds. In fact, it's increased. We're now over 40 seconds to stop this. But here we go. 150 meters per second, 120. Can we get up to 130? Yes, we can. And there we go. Straight into the pirate base. I have no idea what is going on. The amount of follow through with that is absolutely insane. But moving away, what is left of the pirate base? Not much. And well, it does seem like we do have most of the usable part of the rover still remaining. But look at that, and listen to that sound of all the wheels and suspensions just clanging around there. BSC nanobot auto repair system will try and reclaim up all the blocks on the ground to turn it into useful resources. Yes, that was a very successful crash, and it's a very good rover to use in your world. So there'll be a link to its description below to wish you to download and play out yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.